Hello and welcome to Farscape,
A fun-filled Farscape fan cast by a fervent fan
and a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Cocky.
I'm Kay.
And this
is the story So Farscape. Ooh, there we are. Thank you for joining us. We are watching episode 420. We're So Screwed, part 2. And what was it? Hot to Katratzi.
Yes, not hot to Katratzi.
No. Points for everybody who knows that reference.
Oh, yes.
I'm not telling. Give us a shout out if you know where that's a reference to.
I think this was a joke by, Ricky Manning, of course.
Oh?
Well, you know how the last one, or the one before that, Fetal Attraction, his suggestion was, fetus, don't fail me now.
Right.
And apparently sometimes when he says some weird shit, they actually slap it on the episode.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I told you that, but this whole tradition of sort of wacky titles originated in the first season. Nobody really used episode titles. They didn't even expect them to go in TV guides or whatever.
So it's like working titles. So that they could tell
just internal.
Rather than have to talk about episode 4 and then which one was episode 4 again, and they just gave them a little working title,
a
which
little
then became
joke that everybody got, especially in those first 6 episodes when they were filming 3 at a time. Which scene is this one from?
Yeah. Oh. All right. So what do we have? The crew of hang on, are we supposed to do anything? It's been a while since we did a recap.
I know. Let me walk you through it because I have also forgotten, and so I'm looking at my screen. I think we lead the suggestions that people sent in.
Yes, we do start with what it usually goes wrong. We start talking about the episode before we're supposed to, and then we have to remind ourselves to actually have to do the suggestions first. And for some reason, we're not doing that. But
how does it
I guess it depends on how much we are bubbling over to talk about problems. Yes.
I mean, I am.
Okay, so let me see. If I play Big Dog, will they buy it? Will be Day-Glo daisies if anyone tries it. Does Mummy know you stoop so low? It's beer o'clock. Where the hell is my riot? Thank you, Rick from the Delta Quadrant.
oh, Rick. Oh, you hero. Thank you. Let me see. Following Harvey's bombshell, the crew gate crash peace talks with the offer of a lifetime. Being a good American, John uses the twin disciplines of capitalism and violence to get what he wants. Nuclear bombs, terrible plans, and double crosses abound, but will our intrepid space jock get out of this one alive? Thank you, Marky See.
And the gang stops worrying and learn to love the bomb and start a bar fight with the most powerful weapon of all, improv. Thank you, Mysterytour.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes. Oof.
So this episode, there are 3 or 4 images in my head when I think of Farscape.
Yes.
And one of them is John Crichton just in his astronaut garb, falling unconscious, being knocked unconscious, waking up from unconscious. He spends a lot of time on various floors. And then the first time that he got to wear his coat and he swaggered around in it in Vitas Mortas.
Yeah.
And this.
Sorry, which one did?
This episode,
the whole
standing
episode,
on tables. Well, specifically that opening scene, standing on tables, swaggering about, holding...
There's a lot of standing on tables and swaggering about.
Yeah. And he's filmed from below and
I mean in general.
Oh, yeah, true. But this, when I first saw it, this was a moment where, I only almost tuned out from the scene because I was just thinking about he has come really far.
Oh, yes.
This young man was wide-eyed, actually yelling things like, "Gee, what's that smell?" back in the first season.
And he is completely transformed into a hardened, wizened space. Entrepreneur is not... Well, he does a lot of entrepreneuring in this episode, so it's not that bad as a choice of words as I thought it was be. But, yeah, totally.
Prepare to starburst!
We start with a surprisingly short pre-credit sequence, which is more or less a very concise recap of the events leading up to what is about to go down.
Yeah, very few basics, but the information that John got from Starkozu, as you called her.
Yes.
Aaron's torture at the hands of Jennick.
Yep.
The rescue, and then the subsequent capture of Scorpius, finishing with the reveal of
Harvey still there, yes. Cut to Scorpius being tortured for information by the Prime Minister of the whoever the bloody frel it is.
War Minister Akna.
That was it. War Minister Akna, yes.
Played once again by Ben Browder's wife.
Yeah. She's torturing Scorpius for wormhole information while the crew is on their way. They are aboard Lola. Rigel is complaining about the fact that the plan is not very well thought out and
Aaron corrects him.
Yes.
We're going to walk into the most heavily guarded base in the Scarran Empire, start a civil war, and walk out with Scorpius. What part of that do you not understand?
And to be fair, this is one of their better thought out plans, comparatively.
Yeah. And in this case, wherever they go, they fuck things up is probably good in this case, because that's precisely what they're after.
Yeah.
The crew seems to be fairly well, despite the fact that the plan hasn't been detailed, everybody knows what they're roughly supposed to be doing.
They must have had some time to prepare this.
Right.
Because, Erin has gone through some shit, but she's on her feet.
Yes.
And I know that she's a tough woman, but even tough people need some time to get back on their feet.
Well, as we learn later, preparations have been made, so some time has gone over it, and as they're approaching Katratzi, they see the transport freighter that Scorpius was on there. They overtake it, so we know that they were ahead of them. And as we learn towards the end of the episode, Moya is already there, disguised as a freighter.
Oh, yes. All right, yeah, very good. Oh, yes, because she's got the engine signature changer. I love these. I mean, it's not exactly a heist.
It is a bit.
Yeah, they don't have as many different components that are all very dependent on one another. But
Quite the opposite. They're kind of relying on one thing, which is the thermonuclear device.
Yes.
Which John shows off, which is pretty small even for, space standards. I mean, you'd barely be able to fit a nuclear pit into one of those two spheres. It'd also be bloody heavy.
Yes, that. He does wear it on a sling around his middle,
but it'd be heavy. That thing would weigh 20 kilos or something at least.
So is that for the plutonium, or is that for the shielding or the?
Well,
the
the plutonium would be more or less 20 pounds, I think. I'm not quite sure what the critical mass is. And you can, of course, reduce that a little bit if you get a good enough focused explosion around it. But yes, and I'm assuming space age shielding that is going to be able to, whatever.
Right.
Also, plutonium is not that radioactive. I mean, it is pretty fucking radioactive, but I don't think...
it's not great for you.
But I'm pretty sure that a fairly thin lead lining would go a long way towards shielding a nuclear bomb from making it deadly. You just want to see how much is radiating out of there.
I will admit to not completely listening to what you were saying, because I was trying to think of some pun with nuclear. The closest I could come was Creedence Nuclear Waters Revival, which is not very good.
Okay, yes.
I'm so sorry. I thought, I'll just have a quick pun. No, that's nothing. What starts with clear? Absolutely nothing. But yes, you're right. There's probably space age alternative materials to some of the components that are heavier.
I mean, they probably have some sort of lensed explosive device that they can use, and maybe they have found some other way to implode the thing. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of my system before we go to it. So,
I love it every time you say that, honestly.
I mean, just
I'm not kidding. I love it.
So we start with talks between the Emperor of the Scarrans and what's her face again?
Commandant Cleavage.
Yes, Grazer. Thank you.
Yep. Sitting in this big round room,
right?
With all these
with Braca sitting there next to her, rather than being as a aide, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, when you look around the table, they're all in pairs. There's 2 Scarrans, 2 Charads, 2 Kalish, and 2 peacekeepers, and then there are some Scarran guards around.
Yes, and they're having negotiations. They're talking about the talks that they were going to be having. They're talking about the deal that Grazer tried to cut back on the. Not on the Boudon, but was it the Boudon? No, it was a dead Leviathan.
Dead Leviathan, yes, where the trading colony was. And she's claiming that they have wormhole weapons.
Yes.
And, please,
why don't you use them? Well, we'd like a little bit more time to make more. Anytime you delay this, we get to make more wormhole weapons. But in walks the crew. Well, actually, John and Aaron.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a sort of gambit on Stalik's part, where he sort of undercuts Grazer, surprising her with some guests.
Yes.
And yes, oh God, in walks this absolute stud muffin.
Okay, so what was I going to get? I was getting something off my chest. I've got something to get off my chest. It's they just land aboard Lola.
Yeah.
And they are given free reign to walk around.
Yeah.
Like, everybody just gets, like, a hall pass to just walk wherever they want, unless it's a secure area, of course. They clearly know about nuclear weapons, because they can instantly recognize it, yet they didn't do that before they arrived. Also, the Emperor is never evacuated from the area where John is. I mean, that would be the simplest way to, like, take care of it. It's like, oh, you're here with a nuclear bomb. Okay, well, Emperor's just going to go to the bathroom and gets whisked off site. I mean, there's, like, their security is rubbish. It's like...
Yes, we've seen how they run their border stations. We've seen the Scarran idea of quarantine.
Right.
This is fully, like, in keeping with... I mean, they must be doing something else very right, because it's clearly not this. It's clearly not... I fully agree.
Right. Also, where did they get the plutonium pit?
It's space, man.
No, fair. But then,
and try to avoid plutonium.
If they're so easy to get, then you'd think there'd be more safeguards in place around people walking in with nuclear warheads. But it seems like a weird thing.
It's interesting. Like when John describes what he has, which nobody immediately recognizes.
Plutonium core, tritium shell. Does that translate?
A fission bomb.
Right. Yes.
So they know those concepts. I mean, maybe they don't, actually.
I mean, clearly they do, because he recognized it almost instantly. And then they were like, oh, we've been outsmarted or outfoxed or, you know.
It might be through, like, context clues, that they understand the concept of a fission and they understand the concept of a bomb. It may be that nobody else used nuclear fission as a weapon because everybody else's technology tree was different, or they got to fusion faster, or other things that are more efficient.
I mean, there are certain, like, science fiction stories where aliens marvel at the fact that humans developed, like, nuclear fission and then, like, wait, you made bombs out of it? I mean, yes, I suppose you could. But who the frell would, like, make nuclear bombs and set them off on their own planet? Like, what kind of idiot species are you that would do that?
Quite so. He even calls it, like, humanity's greatest contribution to the absurd.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of the first episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
I have actually missed one thing, though. We get this gorgeous shot about them flying in Lola towards Katratzi, which kind of looks like a Death Star that they bought on Wish.com.
You are mean.
Well, yes.
You are mean. I get what you mean. Like, it's more sort of mechanized. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be like. Whether it was originally a planet that was, like, hollowed out and built into, or whether it's just a largely spherical structure. Either way, it's gorgeous. It's huge.
Yes.
It's enormous.
Or maybe that's the moon that they were using to hide behind. You know, that was the thing that we told.
Like, they were mirroring the orbit of the moon, so it'd be on the other side of whatever star
so that wouldn't be there,
is
then.
in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like the broken moon of Sesharin.
It does a bit, yes. Sorry, back to that. That was like me getting things off my chest. There might be more. It's
this scene in the throne, or
this is the scene that you were like, we're referring to as like John doing his swagger. He gets up on the table. He starts taking people's drinks and like pouring he makes a pest out of himself, and he does it in a very stylish way.
What does an American want? Democracy?
Capitalism. I want to sell out and settle down. For one day only, it's a blue light special on aisle 3.
We have wormhole technology. It goes to the highest bidder. And what I really loved about this is he admits not having an exit plan.
There's the rub. You see, I can't figure a way out of this situation, but the first side that does wins.
It's brilliant. It's genuinely brilliant, because insofar as they have any kind of intelligence dossiers on him, this is completely in keeping with the kind of plans that they come up with. And like his motivation, like, I just want to live somewhere quietly without looking over my shoulder all the time, which is also completely understandable. And, you know, they probably get that a lot. Fair. You know, from independent agents in part of this, welcome to my Cold War. This whole scene was absolutely incredible. The amount of effort that went into it.
I must imagine. Also, the table looks gorgeous.
The table was fantastic. All these chairs had to be designed, and you've got 2 chariots, 2 Kalish, 2 Scarrans, plus some background Scarrans, and like...
Is it a completely new set, or is it just like something they wheeled into Moya somewhere?
Oh no, this is completely new, but
Okay.
just like in season 3, they sort of started building sets that they knew they'd need. So this was also the freighter. Part of it was the freighter, and part of it was the border station.
Right. Yeah. We'll
So
just start building it, and we'll use filming
And then
at
expand
various.
as we get closer,
Yeah.
right?
That's very clever, actually.
It really is. They've also done it the other way around, where they built this gorgeous cavern in what was lost, where Grayza had her bedroom, and then that also came back as a few other sets, like the office of the people with beehive hairdos.
Yes. So is this the first time we've seen Chariots without their masks on? I wasn't sure.
No, we've seen them before. One of them was tortured by Rigel back on Dambada.
Yeah. Dambada.
Oh, why did we do that before? And also the one that he met with Katoya
Oh, yes.
also had his face off. But yeah,
Yes.
they're intriguing, aren't they? They've got these... On the one hand, it looks like their skin is kind of loose and leathery, but also sort of stretched over their bones horizontally. It's great.
So we have the chief, who is an ex-member of Starfleet. He still has the tattoo on his forehead.
Oh, I think they all do, but...
No, they
yes.
have different ones. Because the other one's got the big L on his forehead. So either he's... I'm not sure what the lambda...
L for love.
I'm not sure what the lambda symbol stands for, but...
Oh, dear.
It's...
I wonder if it's like a space hanky code.
Oh, that could be.
The Emperor looks amazing. His costume was just finished, like, seconds before the cameras started rolling. Like, they just put the last bolts on it, so there was absolutely no time for any modification. They had to, like, finish 6 Scarran suits for this scene, for the start of an episode. Dave Elsey was talking about, like, this was probably, like, the most exciting, energetic time for the costume and creature departments, because they were just going full tilt
Right,
night and
because they couldn't keep reusing the same Scarran and just give him different makeup and a new outfit. They had
because
to,
there
like,
were 3 of them here.
Yes. So, and I really love that later on. There's like a scene where Chana talks to them, and she's like, and I was literally sitting there thinking, like, oh, so you've got the long-faced Scarrans and the
short-faced
and then 2 seconds later,
Hey, let me ask you something. You short-faced Scarrans, you all look alike, you know?
Yeah, I love the sort of, like, diversity in species. Like, it may be sexual dimorphism, but Akna looks very different from the male ones. Now, that may be because females look very different. She's got these extra protrusions in her bones along the jawline. But maybe there's another type of Scarran that she belongs to.
who knows? Yes, I mean the royal Scarrans. I mean she's a female royal Scarran, I guess, and
the short-faced.
the brain Scarran.
The brain
Yeah,
Scarrans,
that's the one.
I love the look of the Emperor's outfit.
Right. Yes.
Which, you know, is a huge thing for me. It's very sort of bird-like.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, do you see what I mean? It's like parrot feathers, right? When they fluff up. You've got all these scales on his shoulders and on his head. It's absolutely amazing. And he stands. They were worried that it would look a little bit rude. Because on the one hand, it looks like a great dress. Right? It's got a very tight waist. But he's also got quite prominent boobies, especially like these gold panels
I'd call
along
them
his...
more pectorals, but yeah.
Yeah, but when they're lit from above, they're heckin' boobs.
Okay. It didn't jump out to me like that, but you know I'm not a boob person, so...
And then there was also the giant codpiece.
Right.
Which is more sort of chest and pelvic bone that birds and dinosaurs had, right?
Because as we learn in this episode, Scarrans don't keep their mivonks externally.
Yeah, from the moment that I was considering like talking you into doing a rewatch podcast, like what show will we do? Farscape. Oh, then he gets to see this. And Grayza is pissing herself.
Oh, she's like, yeah. She is like, we don't see a lot of Grayza in this episode.
No.
She's
for
like
someone
completely
who's such
outmaneuvered.
a threat.
And yes, it's mostly about the Scarrans and of course, about the plan. Because we have Rigel and Dargo who are moving in on the chariots. They are like trying to stir up the chariots. Sikozu is working with, what's the name of her species again?
Kalish.
The Kalish, yes. Trying to get them basically thinking that the chariots are doing the wrong thing. And then you got Chana and Granny who are just kind of like... Chana's running, I guess, comms, Because they're keeping things coordinated, running back and
Yes.
forth between people, even though they specifically say that Pilot has upgraded the comms security and that they can more or less freely talk.
Yeah, let's hope that that's the case.
Pretty much her, and Granny doesn't really do a lot except for that one scene.
Well, they're about finding Scorpius.
Right.
That's their mission.
Yeah.
Because, I love this. John says, okay, everybody knows the plan, right?
No, refresh me.
And, like, he points at everyone, and he points at, like, Rigel and Dargo, Charades, and then Sikozu, Kalish, and then you two, Scorpius. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Which is brilliant, again, because they're completely overlooked.
Yes.
Noranti and Chiana are just, like, under everybody's radar in terms of, like, threat level. So them just sort of bumbling about, curiously sniffling it everywhere, is perfectly acceptable. And that makes them ideal candidates to go and find Scorpius.
Yeah. John kind of outmaneuvers Grazer. I mean, there's a scene where they go to the Sebastian ship, where John sits and plays the shell game with Sikozu. Sorry, with Grazer, yes, of course.
Yes, she tries to appeal to him, because in the council room, he just told everyone that she doesn't have wormhole weapons.
Yeah.
He just very explicitly said, I'm the only one who has wormhole technology. So
Yeah.
you can't do it, and you can't do it. Yes, I can. No, you can't.
Right. And, of course, there was something about that I had... Oh, yes, the implication, that somehow we missed talking about this, is that... I mean, that's what Harvey says at the end of the previous episode. Scorpius knows everything. You know, he knows everything about...
Yes.
If that were true, then why would he have made the deal with John, for John to tell him everything? Because Scorpius makes a deal with John in exchange for wormhole technology to help him get Aaron.
It may be... I get where you're going. And because you asked the question, now I'm looking for an answer.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's happening here. I'm not just sort of reflexively going, well, actually, I'm just thinking it through. What Scorpius has... Scorpius maybe doesn't have everything. What he has is already dangerous in the hands of a polity that's willing to expend research. Like, it's more than he had when he had a whole Gammak base at his disposal. But it's not enough to sort of intuitively do it the way that John can. So there is more to be had.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I mean,
Right? I mean, John made a displacement engine.
right, yes.
Which is maybe something that...
Well, they have the knowledge of how he did it. I mean, unless there is a...
He might not even have that. Like, he may be at a point where he knows why his pilots kept getting liquefied.
Right, but I'm saying, like, the display... Anything that John has done, supposedly Harvey has passed on to Scorpius. So they would know exactly how to do all these things. The only way that I can see is that if there's still some sort of mental component to him not just being able to navigate the wormholes, but being able to, like, coax them out or something like that.
Ooh, actually, maybe the transfer only happened since Harvey was upgraded to 2.0.
Okay.
So Scorpius would know things that John has thought and done since then. So he's, activated wormholes, done time travel.
Yeah.
He's done that. He hasn't built a displacement engine. That was before.
Yes.
Oh, and also...
That was other John?
Yeah. But so there,
Anyway, it's a little bit of I won't say it's a loose end, but... I mean, and that was pretty much that scene, where basically John tells her off. It's pretty much the last major scene we've seen with Grazer in it in the episode.
Oh, we do get one more. Actually, let's follow up with that one straight away, because here she's briefly sort of trying to assert power over John that he just completely ignores.
Or at least tries to appeal to his senses, like, better that the peacekeepers have it than the Scarrans.
Yep. And he rejects it, staying in character, which is very important, because even though, like, the idea of selling out is a total ruse, he wants everyone to believe it, including her. And that's when she comes back and invites him in, and she's got something for him, namely pardons for all of them.
Right.
Which are conditional on not selling to the Scarrans and nothing else. They're already valid.
Yes.
Which is just a huge, a gesture of good faith.
And there's a little bit of talking like, is this for real? And will they hold up? And apparently...
And Aaron goes, they wouldn't dare break these because they have the high command signet ring and they've all been witnessed by multiple senior officers.
Yeah.
Although we know how Crace would have dealt that. And
right.
They do have paper necks, those
Yes, exactly. So
peacekeepers.
it's still a risk.
But to such a degree that they're willing to, or Crichton just sort of leaves it behind. the documents. That's quite a gambit. Which, as much as there are valid criticisms of Grazer as a character, I think she's a really interesting antagonist just because of the breadth of her imagination. The
length she's willing to go to, and the scope of her...
and in various directions.
Yeah.
Like, she can be extremely cruel, she can be extremely selfish, but in this case, okay, so that didn't work. Why don't I try generosity?
Yeah, good point.
Right? And she does it with equal fervor. It's something that just normally doesn't get her the results as fast as she wants, because that's also the thing with Grazer.
Yes.
She wants things fast.
Yes, I mean, she's not working on the clock, I guess.
There's that for sure.
Right,
okay.
we have Chiana discovering that, yes, indeed, the Scarrans don't keep their mivons on the inside. Outside.
She's being a good buddy.
She is.
Because she finds Jennick and she goes, hey, are you the one who ordered Aaron and me to be cut open? Well, how about this? And she knees him in his cod plate.
Causing her to collapse.
He sort of shrugs it off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no big deal.
The other, like, long-faced Scarran giving a little bit of a chuckle as Chiana falls to the ground. Well, yeah, we've all been there. We've all had that one.
I really liked that one. He's darker in the face. He's also there later on when the Charid leader and the Kalish leader are arguing with one another.
Yeah.
And you can see him. This is amazing on the part of this performer who's wearing this sort of giraffe neck animatronic over his head. But you see him sort of rolling his shoulders and stretching his neck to the side like, I'm so bored.
Yes.
Because that's what first Dargo sidles up to the Charid Shisha bar.
Yes, he walks in there and goes like, hey, you guys got some Razlek? Because I want to drink, but I don't want to drink with... I can't even remember who he said it was he didn't want to drink with.
The Scarrans have nothing good, and he won't drink with Kalish.
Right,
he's
that's
playing
the one.
into their racism.
Yes.
And he even starts off with, wow, don't you guys ever bathe?
Yeah.
Like that sort of tough guy.
Throws this armor, or maybe it's just a passed-out Kalish who's sitting there.
It's a passed-out Charid.
Charid, sorry, yes, of course. Which I've now really decided they really look a lot like Predators. You know, the armor with the dreadlocks, quote-unquote. I think we've mentioned this before in...
yes.
But it really jumped out to me again in this episode.
Yeah, there is something else that they also remind me of, because their helmets have the sort of duckbill look to them.
Right, but that Predator armor also had that, didn't it?
Did they? Oh, I thought they had more
maybe.
pronounced brows and such.
Don't know, maybe. I don't know, that's the Predators themselves, I think.
There's a Muppet that I'm reminded of.
Oh.
Like I think it's the musician woman, you know, whose
That's
eyes
where
look
that's where
closed.
my mind
Right?
went to as well.
Because she has the same hair. She has the sort of smooth duckbill.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's like,
Oh, what's her name? She's
Yes.
I know the name of the band, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, but I don't know her name.
I should know that. But yes,
I love saying Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Oh, that's going to be my name for the Charids from now on.
The Electric Mayhem.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Like, it's been many seasons since you, on the regular, came up with, like, emergency nicknames for people whose names I wouldn't remind you of, and now it's finally my turn. Because this gambit is continued when, let's follow this one, Rigel shows up later on, like, on cue.
Right. Yes, because they're like, what the hell are you doing here? And like, well, you guys are being, like, treated poorly here, but maybe my employer could help you guys out here in this little thing.
And he sort of swaggers in like a Texan cattle millionaire.
Yep. And the Charids are like, oh, lunch has arrived.
Yeah. And Rigel, he definitely has his Mivonks external because he doesn't break a sweat. This is like his ancestral, racial, one might even say, enemy. But I guess he got it out of his system.
Yeah?
Torturing one of them to death on Dambada.
Probably helped.
And defeating / evaporating another one in Katoya. Like, we really don't know what happens to that.
No, but he's like... or maybe just... I mean, it is Rigel. The fact that he knows that he's going to pull the wool over their eyes is probably a lot of motivation for him as well, you know? Him being able to go like, oh, yeah, we'll deal with those shards. We'll make them, like... We'll make them our little puppets. I can think that how that would allow him to set himself over a lot of injustice that has been done to him by the Charids.
Yeah, vengeance loves company. Where was I going with that? I'm sorry, I had the song from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog in my head because just like the supervillain Bad Horse,
right,
Rigel is making the Charids his mare.
Oh, yes. Sakozu, in the meantime, is going back to her boyfriend. Well... Or is this a different one?
Yeah.
It is the same one.
No, it's a different one.
It's a different one. Oh, okay.
It's a different, this is a different, functionary and a different
Right.
assistant.
And somehow she manages to, read into the fact that they are both the binary-eyed kind of...
I have a wonderful surprise for you. You missed a word there.
Yeah?
Bioloid.
Okay. I mean, I heard it, but yeah, I didn't quite hear what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she identifies herself as a bioloid. Same this other person. She asks, are there any more of us? Bioloid is what fake Erin was when she was brought on board.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a big miss there. Oh. So,
Tell me what's happening in your brain. No, this is amazing. This is amazing. This was the reveal that was given to us.
Okay, I'll tell you what I was thinking.
Yeah.
First. So at first I was thinking okay, these are some sort of resistance subspecies discriminated against by the rest of the race. And they can... so that's where I was thinking.
Within the Kalish?
Yes, within the Kalish. I thought, okay, she's some
Right.
sort of... sub-race or subspecies which the rest of the Kalish discriminate against. And she asked, is there more of us around?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where my mind went.
Right. Okay. Now you have this information.
Okay.
That's why she can turn her eye all the way
I mean,
around.
that could have been another, I don't know, Kalish thing that...
I'm completely the same. I'm completely the same with you. I remember watching this and I'm thinking, okay, the producers, they probably expect us to think, she must be a robot. We've seen people do weirder things with their eyes on this show.
I know. Yeah, that was the least weird thing that happened.
Yeah, you turn your eye all the way around when you flirt. That's to winking.
Well, it's more like showing you the secret handshake,
I guess.
That's how it kind of felt for me. Okay,
it's also weirdly how intimate and relieved they are when they identify themselves to each other.
Now I'm confused, actually.
Yeah.
Because the bioloids were put there by the Scarrans.
Yes.
And yet these two are working with the crew.
Yeah.
So there is some...
Or are they?
Well,
Question mark?
I mean, you'd assume that the bioloids are under control. I mean, it'd be kind of stupid to put them in there if they have free will.
We've seen our bioloid being created very quickly.
Yes.
By the Scarrans to replace Erin. Up to and including a bunch of memories and personality. They must have done a very, very quick neural scrape.
So when did they have the opportunity to do that for Sikozu? I mean, has Sikozu ever been captured by...
She's from Scarran space.
Right, well, I mean, other than her having been one all along. I'm just trying to think if there was anything in the last episode, you had to clue me into that's when there was time for them to do the swapsies on Erin. When could they have done the swapsies on Sikozu?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Has there been anything in recent times when that could have occurred?
Yeah, in the sort of fan community, this was a period of a lot of sort of chaotic discussion immediately after this episode.
Well...
And I was mostly interested, honestly, in the topic of Sikozu.
Armor, yes.
The outfits. And I wanted more designs. I wanted to see if Tim Ferrier would do a blog or anything. Yes, absolutely. But then also, what did we think about Sikozu? Has she been a bioloid all along?
Right.
Is it the same as Erin? Because Erin didn't apparently have a heat weapon in her hand or the ability to fry electronics or
that she never displayed. But
exactly, she didn't get a lot of time to do that.
But yeah, so they're still working together. So either the bioloids have more autonomy than we've been led to believe, or there's another Scarran who is playing games here, who is in control of the bioloids.
Let me throw out another one, which is I think the one that I was going with at the time. Bioloid may be a generic term. Okay. So rather than being a species proprietary technology, it is android.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
It just means a robot in the form of a man or a humanoid in general.
Okay.
And you call them all androids, and there's lots of different ways to achieve that. There's positronic
Fair.
ones, or hologram.
Okay.
Lots of different...
I can get that, yeah. To me, I was operating okay, this seems to be a Scarran technology.
I mean, that's the only evidence we have, so it's also perfectly reasonable.
Then you'd be thinking, this is another Scarran playing games, but yeah, who knows?
Okay, so because that's what we needed, more factions.
Right, yes.
To keep track of. It is a cool effect, when she turns her eye
It
around.
is. But for the time being, they are still playing along with the crew. And she has no problem getting the today's boy toy to play along with her plans.
I had it written down. He's another little cutie pie.
He is.
Isn't he?
They seem to be have this thing for their little secretaries and aides.
And they're all redheads, which is
Yes.
always a great look. And they're all wearing contact lenses. Dave Elsie gave no one an excuse.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to get striking turquoise eyes like that, then...
Oh, I like how you say turquoise.
I know, I mispronounced it.
Turquoise. That's the whole...
Let's see, then we have that, then the bomb gets scanned.
Yes, because there's another one of those sentinels, one of the evil
Scarran
DRDs.
Scarran DRD, and John tells 1812 to get him to, But he doesn't seem to be too concerned about the bomb being scanned. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a fantastic scene. Yes, Aaron gets proof that the device works. That at least the heart rate and the other things that John has claimed. Because he's claimed it has a number of dead man switches.
My heart stops. We all go boom. My heart speeds up. It's boom again. Too hot, too cold, too happy, too sad. Thirsty, hungry, bored. It's John Lee Hooker time. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm just damn, this is going to take a lot of self-control from you to keep this thing from going up.
Not something he's known for.
Exactly, right? And, yeah. You can hear the beeping of beep, 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 beep.
Which is like a Geiger counter for his boner.
Yes.
I love how much fun they're both having. Erin as well.
Oh yeah, you can see her this bigly amused grin on her face, still got it.
And throughout the episode, she's the one who says, "Well, our plan is to start a war and a riot and then get out of there. Yeah, what's the problem?" And someone calls Crichton crazy for bringing a bomb in here, and she goes, "Yeah, isn't it fun?"
John enters into negotiations with the Emperor, and the Emperor asks him basically, "Well, what do you want?" And he is this a place where he goes on the rant about the security? That might be later, actually, but yeah, basically, the Emperor
let's just follow this.
Asks him,
thread.
what does he want? What can we offer you to make this happen?
I thought this was really, really interesting because it starts with the Emperor talking to one of the functionaries about who's just scanned the device but doesn't have a solution yet. We'll need some more time.
Yes,
and he yells at this guy, "No, you absolutely will not if you expect to thrive." And then he walks through the door, and he's all rainbows and puppy dogs. To Crichton.
Yes.
If he'd gotten different news, he would have gone in there to rip out Crichton's spine.
Right. Yeah, because he tells, the scientist says, then he'll need 2 solar days to investigate a way to dismantle the bomb. And in true Star Trek fashion, he goes well, you have 2 hours to do it. Which is that's not how it works.
Yeah, really bad management. I have written down here as well. That's not how you get people to do their best.
But basically, they try to enter negotiations with John, and yeah, the Emperor, I don't know if it's this scene or the next one, but basically ends up asking him, what do you actually want? And John goes on one of his little tirades, which is well, what do you hear when you wake up in the morning? What do you feel in the morning?
Such a good speech.
And I want that. I want to have that peace of mind that nobody's going to try and kill me today.
And you see that look on the Emperor's face where he goes, "What the fuck do you think being an emperor is like?"
Well,
that is not how I wake up.
But I love how his response, John asks him, well, how are you going to ensure that? And I don't remember the exact words, but I'm sure that the editor of this episode, me, I think, is going to paste that in right here.
So let me help you out here.
With great effort and great sincerity, though at some point my largesse will dissipate.
Because he knows it's not easy.
Yes, absolutely.
He's got a lot of people that he has to keep at bay, including Minister Akna, who does not believe John.
No.
She's transposing her apparently justified skepticism of Grazer onto John. But John has prepared for this. He nods to Erin, who produces a little data chip and says, "Okay, go to these coordinates."
Oh, yes.
And then just wait there and let me know.
Yeah, let me know when your ship gets there, and we'll give you some proof. Because that's what the Emperor wants. The Emperor wants proof that they actually have wormhole technology. Because that's the Scarrans don't know this yet. Actually, they're only operating on conjuncture. That the Grazer believes that they have it, but they haven't actually seen it for themselves.
Yes. Like, Grazer probably took credit for the destruction of the dreadnought on Dambada.
Right, probably. Makes sense.
Right?
Also, there were no Scarran survivors there, so no real... I mean, we don't know if there were survivors, but like odds are that they didn't know, and certainly no proof that it was wormhole technology that did it.
No, but a weapon that could take out a Scarran dreadnought and leave no evidence.
True.
This is actually... Let's do the same thing here as well. Let's follow this thread, John and the Scarrans.
Yeah.
So he told them, wait there. And then later on, the Emperor comes in furious.
Have cost me a striker. Oh no, do not tell me you ordered them into the wormhole.
What I loved about this is that the Emperor doesn't blink. You know that I wasn't going to wait.
Well,
You knew that when you told me to wait. You knew I wouldn't.
Lay this off on me. You wanted proof, you got it.
it's still your fault for not listening to my instructions.
And this is the power play.
Yeah.
Because actually, they both know, John's plan was entirely, he expected them to send somebody in and die. And so he's got crocodile tears when he goes, oh no, you sent someone in and they died. Oh, that's terrible.
Well, maybe if you'd done what I told you to.
Exactly.
Which is also, like reinforced, like do as I tell you to, and then things will get better. Which is,
Because the Emperor, he asks this fairly innocuous question, like, how did you know did you know it would be there?
No more freebies.
Exactly.
No more freebies.
You won't even answer that. Like, that's it. You wanted proof. That's all you're getting.
Here's your proof, yeah.
Incredible negotiation.
Yeah. Speaking of commanding officer Miss Browder,
Oh, yes.
we go
God,
to
she's
one of the
amazing.
first of many, well, actually not the first, but one of many torture scenes of
Yes, that's the next
Scorpius.
thread.
Yes.
This room is amazing. It feels like a first season sort of set,
It does
doesn't
a
it?
bit, yeah. Lots of space with some vague lighting to indicate that there are actually walls there.
Yeah,
And we
much
have
more about texture and light.
Scorpius suspended in some sort of cage strap thing.
I mean, it doesn't seem to like fulfill any function. It's got all these barbs and there's blood on them, but where's it coming from? None of them are touching him.
I mean, okay, this was a lot of Wayne Pygram spitting out clear goop again episode, because he was doing a lot of that.
And flirting pretty hard as well.
That too, yes.
You know, saying to Akna, like, I've waited all my life for a female like you.
Yes, and he's doing very blusterous and like resisting any attempts to torture, as we know that he is like well used to from his use.
I feel like he's wearing down. I
He
feel
might
like
be.
every new scene he tries a slightly different tack. His defiance is slightly different.
Yeah.
It's taking him more effort,
But finally, we get the long-awaited return of Star.
da, 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 da.
And I was just like, whoa, where did he come from? Like, how did they even know to grab him? How?
Scarran intelligence, man.
Yeah.
These are the people who place a spy in cryo-freeze at a hospital just in case Crichton shows up. They kidnap people and mind-frel them. Apparently,
Fair. Yeah.
they found this out about Scorpius.
And it turns out that Stark has a bit of a dark side to him.
Certainly when it comes to Scorpius.
Yes, because his abilities can also be used for not quite so nice purposes as helping people pass over to the other side.
I know.
It's
Because he lifts his mask and like reveals that energy onto Scorpius, and he threatens him with, like, when you die in agony, I'm going to snatch up your soul.
and not let it pass over. Yes. Oh, that's some,
So hardcore.
Which
you are
seems
going
like,
to be the first sentient being who has ever died and not gone on to the next place because I'm going to eat you.
Well, yes. Oh man, that's like, it seems very against what I'd have thought of Stark so far. It's like, I mean, it's entirely viable that he harbors these feelings, but there's not really been any indication that he had them.
Certainly, like the last time we saw him, like he was still dedicated to bettering himself and being what Zahn would have wanted him to be.
Yes, very true. We get a
But he's also let his hair grow out.
Oh, I had
So who knows, however.
I actually had to see if it was actually the same actor. He looks a bit different.
Yeah, a haircut will do that,
Gain a
won't
little
it?
bit of weight too. I don't know. Hard to tell. His face looked a bit rounder, more feminine, but that could just be the haircut as well.
Oh, actually, I know what you mean. I felt like his mask
Paul
didn't
Hogan?
fit as well.
Right. Oh, yeah. His nose was sticking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
So maybe the strap wasn't on tight enough. They had a lot to do this episode.
I mean, the strap kind of couldn't be too tight because you kind of had to be able to lift it away. So,
also that. Yes, good point.
yeah.
I'm now reminded. I'm very sorry. There is an Indian film, not Bollywood. It's in the Telugu language called RRR, and it's pretty amazing. And it includes an absolutely bonkers dance sequence called Tunatu, which is fucking fantastic. Absolutely go and look at it. But it includes a bit where these two gentlemen are dancing with suspenders.
Yeah.
And they have to do these sort of stretching out the suspenders maneuvers.
Yeah.
And right, so they had extra long suspenders for that.
Yeah.
And then there's also a scene
Nipple
where
protection.
Yes, exactly. And then there's also a sequence where some lady pulls on their suspenders and snaps it back to send them on their way and continue dancing. And for that one, they'd worn the wrong suspenders.
Ooh.
So they got some
Little
deep
bit of purple,
crimson nurples.
A little bit of purple nurple going on there. Yeah. So the escalation continues. Talks there's a lot of the episode is spent in the various camps trying to talk up the paranoia about the other people.
Yeah, and John sort of egging them on.
Where the hell is my riot?
Yes.
It's beer o'clock. I need a riot now. No, it's coming. It's coming.
It's hard to start, but then it's hard to stop as well.
I did sort of love that sort of energy that everybody's going hey, we're working as fast as
Yes,
we can.
we are
This
working.
Is the way.
Nobody is trying to run their own agenda. Everybody is actually working on trying to get it to happen properly.
Yeah, even Sikozu, which she's apparently of a rebel faction that the crew doesn't know about, and she's talking to other rebels, and they're turning on their own species.
Yes, I mean, they're at least willing to sacrifice them, or at least get them involved in the fighting, yes.
Yeah, it's...
Braca shows up. John has a run with Braca.
Nice pants, he says.
Oh, yes.
Does mommy know you're here? Says Aaron. They're just sort of bullying him, like the hot couple in school bullying someone.
Yes, the prom queen and the jock.
Honestly, these days it would be the math Olympiad winner and the sort of Greco-Roman wrestler girlfriend.
Where are we going to go from here? We've pretty much covered the threads rather than the details.
I actually want to follow one more.
Yes.
And that is, it follows up from the meeting that you just described, because Braca asks, are you here to save him or kill him?
Oh, yes.
What did you think?
I can't remember what the answer is that John gives.
We don't get to see that. So I
was assuming, we learn later what John's plans are, at least what John's plans claim to be. Mm-hmm. The implication to me was that they were there to save him, but that could just be my naivete.
Valid.
Yeah.
No, I agree. They're reunited with Scorpius because when Emperor Stalik asks what John wants, he says, "Oh, I want Scorpius." Oh, because he harmed you or because he can give me what you were trying to sell? No, because Akna pissed me off and I want to piss her off.
Yeah.
And Stalik goes, yes, that does seem...
That should also be a valid argument.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I've negotiated like this before.
I can live with that, yeah.
And so once they have their hands on Scorpius, he goes, okay, we really need to riot now. This is the moment. Hand on the ball. Touchdown time, everyone.
And the... what's her name again? Akna?
Akna.
Akna actually tries to call John's bluff by blasting him with her heat ray.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Until the bomb's like, oh, no, you're not taking my toy away. And she blasts him and... and I mean, again...
And he won't back down.
She bravely keeps going that, because it might take a while for that heart rate to go back down again. But no, apparently it goes down quick enough that once she lets up, that the bomb lets up, and she has to admit the fact that she's been outsmarted here.
Yeah.
And that Scorpius gets carted off by John and Aaron. Where's that later?
No, we're following that thread. Very good.
Yes.
Because then once they're alone, he throws Scorpius down and asks him, did you tell them anything?
Yes.
And there's a pretty deep implication here, because if he has told them anything, that changes their plan, probably.
Of course.
Right? Then the bomb definitely needs to go off to make sure that whatever he told them doesn't leave this planet.
Yes.
Which is interesting. But when Scorpius insists that he didn't, then Crichton goes, okay, good, Aaron, kill him.
Yeah.
And she balks, because she's come to Scorpius' defense before.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why didn't you kill him? And he goes well, I can't, because I promised you I wouldn't. And well, I relinquish you from your promise.
Oh, awesome! And he grabs Winona.
And what does he offer her if, like, she kills him?
I'll give you my bike if you kill him.
Oh, that was it, yes. But yeah, it's all very
You
well
can
played.
tell that he doesn't have Dutch ancestry.
Yeah, that's a good
We'd
point.
never give up the fight.
But yeah, it's very well played that you're never really quite sure how much of it is play, how much of it is threatening, and how much of it is genuine emotion. Because it's become so confused at this point, all thrown together. Yeah, that like you never really know what's actually going through someone's mind and how much of it is play and how much of it is genuine.
Sincere. This is kind of the theme for this episode, by the way, because there's this scene where eventually when Scorpius doesn't beg or doesn't change his mind or whatever, he goes, oh, he's telling the truth. Okay, let's get him out of here.
Fair enough, yes.
Because it was just an interrogation, which Scorpius has to have known.
I guess.
He's too smart not to.
But yeah, he's been through a lot. I mean, he can make slip-ups.
But also, he just got a visit from the Emperor.
Yes.
Who visited the torture chamber, and then Akna very quickly sort of sent Stark away. You make yourself unseen.
Yes.
And then he had a sort of quiet conversation with Scorpius, where apparently they know one another.
Yes, because I've been a spy for how many cycles did he say? 70 or something?
10 cycles.
10 cycles. So now Scorpius is a double agent?
Everybody's a fucking double agent. We're just all fucking Segosa's a double agent. Stark's a double agent. We're just all doing it now.
Well, Stark's not a double agent. He's just been hired by the other side. I mean, I wouldn't call him an agent. So,
fair enough.
Yeah,
okay.
but yes.
Whose side are you on?
Well, on my side, of course.
Yes, very good.
Moya's
like
side.
a proper
Pilot
tormented.
side. Yes.
Oh, yes, we're all on pilot side.
There we go.
Oh, yes. By the way, we didn't mention where all this sort of Charid-Kalish conflict started.
Yes.
It's kind of clever. So John had Kozu break into a command center so that they would get access codes to an area where they weren't supposed to be.
Yes.
They got into an elevator, took it all the way down to the forbidden
they
level.
do a little dance there while they're on the elevator.
Oh, wow.
A little dance before death, as I've got it written down.
That was so amazing.
Yes.
Like this.
Really touching little moment between John and Aaron.
And the piano music, which we know our friend Lee, the composer of our fantastic music, was hugely inspired by.
And they're riding the elevator down into the royal flower chamber of some sort.
Now, for Dutch gentlemen, this was extremely familiar. This is Tulpenbollenveld. This is tulip fields,
Fair.
right? They sort of look like this.
Oh, they
except
look
don't
more like
usually...
the birds of paradise. So is that the same flower that was growing outside the torture cabin that...
The what? Oh, I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know what you're talking about there.
Scorpius's little
oh, wow, that's
field.
amazing.
Yeah, that was like these birds which look just like
wow.
birds
It's
of
so cool
paradise.
that you mentioned
yeah,
that. No,
funny that.
It never
like,
occurred to me
did you-
before.
how much? Were you counting on me not remembering that?
My dude, this conversation that they have where he goes like, oh yeah, it's a Strelitzia, hummingbird feeder.
Yes.
I edited that into the episode where they
Right.
first appeared because I knew you wouldn't listen to the episodes.
Fair.
Yes. Unfortunately, these don't move, which I would have liked, but they had a whole field of them.
Yes.
And then they've got, it looks like Audrey 2 in the background.
Yeah, it's a very big version. That must be the Royal Emperor version flower of that.
Feed me, Stally.
Yes. John and Aaron are getting some kit off and having a little get-together because they know they're going to be walked into anytime soon, and they're just like...
that was their whole... we're flashing back a bit. That was their whole sort of plan. They get caught and they both zip up. There's never enough time.
Yes. Oh.
And this
20 minutes,
causes
we can do that.
the finger pointing,
Yes.
because they got that access code through the Kalish, or at least through
Right.
Segosu, but they say...
Some Charids got off the elevator. We got on. We got off. Well, we tried to get off. We got interrupted.
And
So-
the Charids, of course, are going like, oh, no, this is not right. This can't be. And it must be the other people's problem.
And it escalates and escalates in the middle of this pretty big room where lots of people are standing around and like, There's a sort of peanut gallery on the upper levels where Rigel and Dargo are sort of watching. Oh, I love watching a riot blossom.
Yes.
Until the first chair is thrown. Oh my god, a chair! And then punches are thrown, and then people are thrown. And fortunately, as this fracas erupts, our heroes, they have some experience with this. Mm-hmm. So Dargo's in charge of getting Sikozu out of there, which he does with a pretty clever strategy. He walks up to one of the chariots with whom he's been drinking. He goes, "Hey, warrior, take this piece of tralc off my hands." Hands the chariot Sikozu, and then punches him out. Until he bumps into the next chariot and then does the same thing again. They're just doing this over and over.
I mean, don't change your winning tactic.
Exactly. Rigel, I guess he just hovers out of there.
He just kind of like on its throne sled.
And everybody's making their way to Lola, which unfortunately is still guarded, but that guard wouldn't risk setting off the bomb.
No.
So let's just go and overpower him. But, oh no, Scorpius. Oh, he's got the vapors.
Yes.
And he falls to the ground. And, oh no, I can't go any further.
He's up to another fucking granny tactics again.
He learned from the best.
Yeah, true. Also, let's not forget that it is Braca to the rescue at one point.
Oh,
as
yes.
As they are moving through the corridor with carrying Scorpius between them.
Coming under
and
fire.
And they get confronted by I think it's a chariot, because it has to be a chariot, because,
Yes, I think you're right.
Scarrans don't go down with one shot from a pulse pistol.
No. Braca to the rescue.
Yeah.
Feel the love, Mr. Burns.
Oh, yeah, like a sweet Simpsons reference there.
Yep.
But
also some late 90s, early 2000s sort of inherent homophobia there, almost.
True.
Those were the days.
And it all ends with
Scorpius pulling a fast one.
Yep.
He did not have the vapors. He jumps up.
Oh, no.
And just before they can make it to their escape craft and back to Moya that was waiting for them and completing their plan that they had executed so perfectly, it all falls to shit. And Scorpius has to drop on them and sort of straddles John.
Yes.
Now, if you trust me enough to live, you may well discover the truth.
Trust you. Trust you?
Weird time to get a boner, but okay.
It had multiple detectors.
Different settings and features. Yeah, I've seen devices like that on the internet. All sorts of things.
I mean, too cold, too hot, too slow, too fast. There's Okay, and it is a
models for the catalog.
Big TBC at the end of it.
Yes, because it's a 3-parter.
Yeah. Which is, it might even be a 4-parter, because if there's 22 episodes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Spoiler. Or is it? Wow. I'm off my game. We're so close to the end. But I'm not even because I was so excited for you to find out that this is indeed not a 2-parter, but a multi-parter, because it's such an unusual structure for television.
Yeah.
Because the middle episode, what do you do with that? It's usually a lot of setup or emotional stuff.
Oh, you had the same in Look at the Princess, which is also a 3-parter, which also, and the problem with a middle part, you don't have the initial development of the story, you don't have the conclusion of it, so you have to get some sort of other exciting thing.
So what they achieved here, I think very successfully, is redressing the set. So it feels like 2 different locations. The border station and Katratzi.
Right.
Even though it's one pretty expensive set, but you're introduced to the Emperor this time around. So it feels like a new location. The same that we had with... Oh, actually, no. I was thinking about the Shadow Suppository. Were we there for all 3 episodes?
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you...
Ooh, yes, well, that's definitely one of my candidates for a Woody in more ways than one.
Yes.
But let's see. Willies. Ooh, because we traditionally start out with the Willies.
Yes. Which, in case we have a new listener who decided, season 4, episode 20.
That sounds like a good time to jump into a podcast with only 2 more episodes left to go.
The things we like in this episode get our woodies, and the things that are not our favorites
that give us the willies is, I believe, the phrase that we're supposed to be looking.
That's the polite way to express it.
I mean, if we always put the soundbite in, so that's at least some reference to where it's coming
like
from.
Listening to that.
Yes. I think I was pretty low on Willy material, but I would say that it would have to go to Stark using his powers for evil. Like Stark
shocking, isn't it?
Stark being like all mean and vindicative towards Scorpius.
Yeah.
Also, we don't see anything of him. He just gets brought in to do a little bit of Scorpio torture, and then it completely disappears off screen again.
He's like sort of Igor slinking into the shadows of Frankenstein's lab.
As for Willies, I have many more candidates. Woodies, I have more candidates for those.
Yay.
I mean, like John being the bomb, like that little.
Oh my god!
that was a really good one.
Kay, I'm so proud of you. Came out of nowhere.
And of course, the little dance that John and Aaron do.
Yeah, just do a little slow dance.
Let's see, what else do I have? Bracket to the rescue, also a good one.
Yeah.
But I think that my actual Woody will have to go to the little bit of theater that John and Aaron put on when they are putting Scorpius through the ringer.
Yes, because they totally rehearsed that, right?
Yes.
They sort of worked that out, and it's brilliant because it's consistent with their motivations.
And you have no idea which of it is genuine and which of it is what they're playing back and forth. I mean, it could all be genuine. It could all be like...
Yes. Because Farscape is the kind of show where you could have, like, John could indeed want her to kill him or be willing to do it himself and then be interrupted. Happens all the time.
Yes, and he could still have Harvey could be making it hard for him to kill Scorpius. There could still be safeguards in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
So there could be all sorts of... But yeah, that was fantastic how they put on that little play.
Oh, yes. Absolutely agreed. My Woody goes to like the set design and the come on, it is gorgeous. It's
the costumes,
gorgeous.
The Emperor is fantastic.
Oh, I didn't actually bring the Creatures of Farscape book this time around. I'm very, very sorry. I'll bring it next time because the very last page, the one that I haven't been able to show you since, I think the last one was it Naranti?
Could be.
Oh no, it was the Screeth. Was that creature. The last one is about all the Scarrans. And it included Stalik, so I couldn't show it to you yet.
So who's this guy?
But it's so glorious. Like their whole look, they sort of look like bondage Cenobites, and then it's elevated again with Stalik, and it's...
And just pick it up once more, yes.
Absolutely gorgeous.
As for a Willy?
The betrayals.
Oh.
I love a twist.
Everybody backstabbing each other all the time. There's so much going on.
Too much. This is like multiple, like daisy chain. Just like what's it called? Yeah,
a daisy chain.
Yeah, it is called a daisy chain, and then everyone turns
on everybody else, and you have no idea whose loyalties lie where anymore.
Yes. And I don't mind...
Well, we do know one thing. Bracca's loyalties lie firmly with Scorpius.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing we can, and of course, John and Aaron and the crew for themselves. But other than that...
the literal words out of my mouth. John and Aaron and the crew for themselves is what I was going to say.
Yeah. Although Sikozu has become suspect at the very least.
Well, hasn't she?
Her actions have been benevolent so far. They have been in line with the crew. But we don't know where her loyalties lie.
Yep.
It's like, for the time being, they coincide.
Yep.
Let's put it like that.
Oh, actually, I've just thought of something. I may want to replace my Woody.
Yeah.
So my Willy is definitely for the too many betrayals for one single episode. I may want to replace my Woody with Naranti.
Oh.
Because her only three things actually. She does three things. So she falls asleep during the mission briefing and asks for a repeat.
Which is on brand for Naranti.
She finds Scorpius, right?
Yeah.
She does the incredibly important part that nobody else plays a role in, actually finding Scorpius, confirming that he's there and where he's located, because she hears his voice in some vent, and Shiana goes, are you sure? And she almost like points at her enormous ears. Yeah, I'm sure. And she takes down a Scarran in one blow.
Well, not even blow, just like
a literal blow.
One flash of her... Oh, was that it? I thought it was one flash of her purple eye or something. And
then she's got a handful of cocaine again.
For some reason, I missed that part, because I thought it was just like her mind's eye which was doing it. And she goes like, well, that works. It's like...
Which is beautiful because clearly, like, Chiana has been asking you this whole time, are you sure it's going to work? No, it might.
Yeah.
It worked!
Yeah. No, absolutely. That was a good scene, yes.
I just love Naranti because, hey, when you think about it, nothing has been achieved this episode.
No. Well, not yet.
Right? But
I mean, a lot of things have been moved forward, but
everyone is roughly where they were at the start of this episode. All of their plans to get out of there haven't happened.
Other than that, they are almost at Lola, and once they get onto Lola, they can get to Moya, presumably.
They're under fire now. Like, Scorpius has them on the ground, and there's guards all around.
Yeah. No, true, but like it's gotten closer. And they have Scorpius, and what I thought was a good plot point as well.
Scorpius
it was like,
has them.
It's like, what's going on with Scorpius? Like, is Scorpius going to get, like, as you asked me, like, I was under the impression that they were there to rescue Scorpius.
Yeah.
But they could have been, like, they could have just killed him at some point, as John threatens to do so. Is the information out, or is it still in? And what's going to happen? Like, we still have, like, a lot of things are up in the air. No, I agree with that. Like, things are still up in the air, although it does feel like things have at least changed, not necessarily moved along. The power dynamics changed.
Yes.
Very much so.
Fascinating.
Right.
So, that's the story so far, Farscape.
Yep. Please join us next week for another Tales of the Tormented Space, and the week after that for episode 421, La Bomba. We're So Screwed, Part 3.
Para bailar la bomba, y seré una poca de gracia.
In which, with their escape from Katratzi botched, the crew of Moya must enlist the help of their old enemy if they hope to survive the Scarrans' wrath.
Ooh.
Which old enemy are we talking about?
It could be literally anyone at this point, right?
Pretty much literally anyone at this point. My money's on Grazer.
Thank you for joining us once again as we're inching toward the end of the season, the final season, and then the end of Farscape. Like, there definitely isn't a follow-up miniseries that you definitely don't know about. But yeah, just a few more episodes to go. Hey, Kate, how are you feeling about that, by the way?
Oh, I really want to see the resolution of this season. But the fact that it's like, almost over is like, it's such a shame. I mean, on the other hand, knowing that it's like it finishes and it's like not left hanging with an open-ended episode. I mean, the fact...
Yeah,
we don't... I mean, I don't know what the status was, if they knew anything about renewals at the end of the season.
I'll tell you all about it when we get there.
But that's always a problem. Like, you get a fantastic series, like, for instance, Carnival, which is like was meant to go for another 2 seasons, and it's just like left hanging at the end of the season because, sorry, you're not being renewed.
Yep.
And the opposite, when they get told that they're going to be cancelled and then they get a renewal as well anyway, so then they try to cram everything into the last 2 episodes, and then, now we have to make another whole new season. And
Okay, I'm so delighted because now I have another secret that I can keep from you. It hadn't even occurred to me, but this is a very important secret that you can stress and worry about.
Okay,
and I'll just keep it from you. Okay. Oh, hooray! We're back. Thank you for joining us once again. We hope to see you again next time, as Kay already said. You can... how does that math work out? Actually, yes. Probably if you go to sofarscape.com/links, you'll find the links to submit your own synopses, where I think it's still going to be possible at this point.
Especially for the miniseries that doesn't exist.
Would be a really weird time to join the Patreon, but hey, you'd be totally welcome. We've got some GIF packs there, which I'm a little behind on, but I'll definitely make sure that they caught up. I'm not going to leave anybody hanging. We will have all the GIF packs for all the episodes before the series is done. Let me see, do we have anything else there? We probably have a few other things there. Twitter and Facebook. Oh, hey, I recently posted on Twitter.
Ooh,
on the So Farscape. I announced an episode. I've been a very good boy. I hope you're proud of me. So I'll try to keep that up. Thank you for joining us on this long, long journey. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.